Welcome to Building the Future, hosted by Kevin Horick. With millions of listeners a month, Building the Future has quickly become one of the fastest rising programs, with a focus on interviewing startups, entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, and more. The radio and TV show airs in 15 markets across the globe, including Silicon Valley. For full showtimes, past episodes, or to sponsor the show, please visit buildingthefutureshow.com.
Welcome back to the show. Today we have Chai Vejuapalli. She's the founder and president of Women in Cloud. Chai, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. Very excited to be on your show today.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show. You've done a tremendous amount of interesting stuff, but maybe before we dive into all that and what you're doing today, let's get to know you a little bit better and start off with where you grew up.
Absolutely, Kevin. When people see me, they see me in multiple facets or multiple ways of what I do. But I'm a curious entrepreneur at the end of the day. I love being an entrepreneur. I love finding solutions and I love transforming old models into new models. That's just who I am. And it comes from the place of being an engineer and an electrical engineer. And this is like the best time of the world because electricity and AI, they're all coming together. But I grew up in India and pretty much, we grew up all over India and my dad was in army. So I got a very good access into different cultures, different languages, and also different types of ways of learning. And I think that kind of it makes me a more of a curious entrepreneur because I'm always curious about why people do what they do and what does it take to drive a transformation.
Sure. So what got you interested in being an engineer early on?
I wish I had an answer. So there was only two choices on the table: get married or go get studies when I was
Okay.
in the high school. And I was thinking become an Air Force pilot or a fashion designer. And when I
Okay.
looked at those two in 1995, there was nothing, or 1990 is when I was like making a decision on that. My parents were not on the same page as that I should be an Air Force pilot because I would have been the second or the third pilot at that time. Because at that time, they had just opened up the door for that. Fashion designing, they said, well, it's not something you will be good at. So then I had option to be a lawyer or engineer or a doctor. And I didn't want to wear I didn't have the skills to be a lawyer. Let me put it that way.
All right. Sure.
Neither the doctor, like I can study that long. So then engineering was really something I felt like it goes with my curiosity and problem solving. So I picked engineering as a area to go into.
Very cool. Okay. So walk us through getting out of school, your career up until what you're doing today, because you're doing some really innovative stuff.
I would say, Kevin, I would say the destiny was to be a housewife. That was how I was groomed and raised. But the engineering was mostly for educating because my family believed in being educated and making sure that you had the comprehension skills, the planning skills, the preparation skills. But when you think about what happened right after my college, I got married and came to US and was a housewife for 3 years. And my husband said, this doesn't make sense. You have so much capacity to do so much creative stuff. And at that time, Windows 95 was rolled, kind of released. And that kind of sparked the interest that a technology that is invisible like electricity can touch 1 billion people. And that was their goal on the TV show. I was very curious is how can an invisible technology do that? We purchased the first Windows 95 technology and it was just a game changer. I said, yeah, that's a tech industry I want to go. It was an emerging one, got trained on that skills and got into Oracle, then did a pretty good on licensing and sales and consulting, and moved into Microsoft to do is $1 billion strategies and go to market product management. And then decided to be an entrepreneur and realized I can really do go to market with technology as a superpower. Realized there was no community of economic access for building $1 million deals with each other. So that's kind of got me into building a women in cloud ecosystem. And my love for movies is always there. I watch a movie per week or maybe two movies per week.
That's
So
awesome.
that allowed me to kind of establish a film fund and really produce movies in Hollywood. So that's kind of like mostly following what my passions are, where the technology trends are, where the direction things are going. And I'm adaptable. So it kind of makes me keep myself very active and engaged because I believe is I can bring something to the world every single day.
No, that's really cool. So I'm curious, how do you stay current and on top of things? Because things change so quickly nowadays in technology. And then how does that play into Women in the Cloud and all your other kind of ventures?
I would say, Kevin, I look from a lens of how I need to serve my people, right? My ecosystem.
Okay.
And that allows me to look at what is the transformation that we need to do. So I have a unique way of looking at the patterns that needs to, patterns that are matching or patterns that are not matching. And second, the love for democratizing access is something is in my DNA. So I'm always looking at what do we need to democratize? Is it policy? Is it money? Is it technology? Is it programs or skilling? What is that we need to democratize? And when you're talking to people, they will tell you what they need access to.
Yeah.
They'll say,
Interesting.
I need access to money. I need access to skilling. I am not able to pay for it. And that allows me to really look at it and say, how do you open up those doors so that they can really truly transform themselves so they can achieve their ultimate potential? So when you look at right now in the current ecosystem, we went from personal computing, then to client server, to cloud, and now AI. The democratization of technology was very good during Windows, I would say the personal computing. Everybody
Yeah.
could buy a laptop and they could use it. And suddenly everyone kind of accomplished their ultimate potential. Yes, there's still 20% of the people don't have access to computers, but most of them had. Then you looked at the broadband access opened up doors for people to get into cloud computing. Again, I would say 40 to 50% of it. But when you think about AI, it is expensive if you don't pay attention to it. There's so many tools you need to use. So, how do you democratize that? But more than that, how do you prepare people to use such a powerful technology where intelligence is democratized? How do you tap
Yeah.
into billions of people and their intelligence? And then how do you develop your own intelligence so you know what is real, what is fake? How do you navigate that? So, in the world of democratizing intelligence, that is where the next 5 to 10 years is going to be. You kind of look at and say, how do you add value to it? Because coming from an enterprise, you're always thinking ROI and impact and
Yeah.
outcome. So it's pretty easy as an entrepreneur to really figure out a program or a solution to bring to market.
I totally agree with you. It's interesting, like that everything is like the bar to entry into building a business now is becoming so much lower than it was even like 2 years ago, right? Just I think
Mhm,
since
mhm.
AI's come in, it can help you do a lot of things. It does some things really well. I think in some aspects it's really overhyped as somebody that uses it all day, every day.
Mhm.
So I'm curious though, you say like it's easy to kind of figure that out, but like what advice do you give to people to actually figure some of those ideas out and what to actually build and go for it? Because it's one thing to sit at a table and have coffee with a friend and be like, we should build this instead of like actually trying to go for it, because the execution is really the hardest part and then kind of the sales after, in my opinion.
Completely. Like if you think about how the AI is transforming, it is making you to communicate more clearly. And first is to learn really good communication. That means you can talk to each other. You cannot say, I want this, I want that. No, you have to be very precise on what you're asking for. So I think the communication skills are going to get better, Kevin. So that's the first thing. And that's the biggest challenge because not many people have been taught how to even ask for something, how to be grateful for something, or but we are just
Yeah.
known to express frustration, but not really give constructive instruction to get the outcome. So that's a big one. It's a human transformation at a communication level, which need to. The second one is becoming an agent bosses, right? Becoming a boss of an agent. How do you do it? Because if you cannot give the right instruction and you cannot get the right language and communication, your boss is going to, you as a boss is not going to be very good at managing the agent. The agent is going to go crazy, is going to do what it needs to do based on the instructions. So I think those are kind of the fundamental foundation that humans have to develop to really leverage the power of technology. For example, when I started ChatGPT, even the first time, my kids came and introduced me, saying, Mom, you should really look into it. It's really amazing. And I'm like, what is it? And the first 3, 4 days, I really couldn't communicate with that technology in a way. But the first thing I did was switch from Google search into ChatGPT search. I said, this is my first change is how I'm going to give instruction and how am I going to do. The second step was, can I build automation around it? Number three, can I increase the speed around it? And then I realized, well, it's not the speed, it's really the frameworks you need to develop to communicate to people what you do, how you do. So I think it's a bunch of things that needs to happen. But at the end of the day, humans have to learn how to communicate with each other and how to lead a technology to do what it needs to do. And those two skills they have to acquire. Until they acquire, they are not going to be successful with this technology.
That's actually really interesting. Advice for acquiring these skills?
Yeah. So you're asking me what is kind of advice for acquiring this skill. One of the ideas was when there was a new article that one was shared by, I think, Anthropic, that these things are going to change and you can really drive the transformation. So how do we manage or lead the agents, right? So the first thing that we said as a team, the Women in Cloud team, is how do we measure the outcome if we start using these technology so that it is precise? We are also using with caution along with excitement. Those were kind of our three areas to look at. So then we started looking at adoption rate, how many agents and workflows are now powered by agents in a way that we can manage also. It's not like it's just going off and doing. And how many tools are we using to do it? Second is the outcome quality. Are the results generated by the agents meeting or exceeding expectations? So that's the second one. And the third one is a team sentiment. Are they feeling empowered or they are feeling overwhelmed? So the skills that anyone has to acquire to achieve these outcomes are, you need to understand the prompt engineering and also contextual framing. Very important. Also understanding the workflow, all the steps. So anything that you want to really identify, which is repetitive, rule-based task that can be deployed through AI, you need to learn that. Delegation, how to assign the work to multiple agents and manage that inter-agent coordination. That is something you have to learn, and I don't think I have mastered it yet, or even my team. So that's the delegation piece. Second is human and agent oversight. What does review, refine, and override outputs look like? So how do you put the governance and ethics? Performance evaluation of how do you track the APIs of the AI agents? How do you tune and refrain them for the required outcomes? And ethical and secure use of AI. How do you pick the right tools which drives the right data privacy, the model bias, or a safe usage protocols for the work you're doing? And the last three is team orchestration. How do you manage AI in the blended teams, whether in person, remote? How do you bring all the pieces for a coordinated value that we can define? And the last one I would say is the business case development. How do you create a compelling business case of why we need a human and an agent team, which will help with the accelerated growth, but not letting go of people on the team. Right now, people are thinking AI is here and I can fire people. No, that's not the point. It's about how do you bring is a hybrid one, and also it creates a competitive advantage to create an infrastructure that one will serve you for long term.
No, I think that's actually a really good point too, because like there's so many people, yeah, to your point, like that think they can just fire a bunch of people. It's like, you're going to end up rehiring back all or most of those people because you're going to realize they're going to hit a wall with AI so fast that, it's interesting. But I'm curious. So are you recommending people build their own agents, leverage like other technologies out there, a bit of both? And then how do you kind of decide that? And then how do you actually get your workforce to actually start using that? Because I even know some developers, for example, that love it, use it every day, and we can like crush features, right? And development by using it. And then I know some developers that won't use it at all, and it's just not going as fast. And if they would adopt it, I think they would find so much benefit, and it wouldn't replace them. It would actually just let them do some of the boring stuff. Like even just let it, we never had documentation before. Now we can have AI document everything that's happening, and, sure, we can review it and whatnot, but like nobody likes doing documentation. Well, maybe not everybody, but something simple like that can just like speed up that one thing. And there's a myriad of things that it can do. So what are your thoughts around kind of managing that? Because some people are for it, some people are against it, and kind of everywhere in between.
As a executive of the company, look at intelligence is something, it's not really now you have to hire, it's really how you deploy the intelligence. So I want to look at the human intelligence and then the technology intelligence that is accessible, because now the technology allows me to tap into billions of people who are using this technology, right? So now if I want to accelerate my research work, I would not really deploy a contract on research. But I would do is work with someone who knows how to use the research tools, and then bring the person and their skill set and the technology so they can expedite research. And that is what I would be interested in investing in them. If they're saying go to market, and I would have the person program manage the go to market, but use the AI to automate the content development so that the review process gets accelerated. Otherwise, they're saying it takes 5 hours to write an article. And I'm like, no, we don't need that much. Let's get to 1 hour. So the research time gets down, the content development, but we have more time to review. Otherwise, in the olden times, the review used to take long time. Everything was redlined. Here, you don't need to redline. You just need to prompt the technology to make those red line changes without having an employee feel bad. Like for my thing is right now, people are so much patient when AI makes a issue or doesn't give the output, but we are not patient with each other, and that is very fascinating. So I think it's going to be really around, can we develop more patience and empathy and compassion towards people, and have the technology do the hard work and make it work so hard so we can actually build a better relationship with each other and get the outcomes we need. I think if people use the technology in the way it needs to, I think the teams are going to be much more, you can have more coffee together, you can do much better brainstorming, and also come up with better business models. And the community building of doing anything, I think it enriches because you are not spending a lot of time on monotonous work. So it's really up to each of the human beings is, are you afraid of it? Are you excited about it? For me, it's like I'd go with caution and excitement at the same time, but knowing that I have access to intelligence of a billion people on the world with a single prompt, and I can do fast, I can activate my procrastination to action in seconds, which is power, right? So
that's actually really interesting. So I want to dive into what is Women in Cloud and kind of what made you decide to found it.
Kevin, Women in Cloud was a mission designed to democratize economic access for women and allies in the AI powered economy. And when you think about democratizing economic access, it focuses on the workforce development, the leadership development, economic development, and some advocacy work. So we said is what is missing in the AI economy? In a workforce development piece, we found women to get certified on the modern technologies of cloud and AI and cyber, it was very expensive. So we were able to partner with hyperscalers and democratize access to certifications. And
That's
over the
cool.
last 4 years, we have given access to 5,600 people to get certified in cloud, cyber, and AI. Out of that, 18% of them have actually got the jobs, and
That's
they are
awesome.
making $70,000 or $100,000 jobs across the world. So we feel like that is kind of that one needed to be done. Our goal is to get to over 10,000 to 50,000 of them are truly, because once they're certified, they are innovating and they will be
Yeah.
contributing to the innovation engine rather than just being in the behind the scene. The second one was a leadership one where we realized is women wanted access to communicate their thought leadership in different stages and different contextual space, and they really didn't know how to articulate their paradigm shifts or ideas. So we have an insider circle program, which is a community built for women to develop their thought leadership, so they can be on the TED Talks or they can communicate on international stages or industry stages. So developing them and preparing them. From a founder perspective, they said is we need a better go-to-market engine. So we created a very powerful go-to-market engine, leveraging the cloud marketplaces of hyperscalers and getting them to develop their product offer, and then getting them to access publicity, promotion, and partnership so they can accelerate and build $1 million businesses and also maybe acquired as quickly as possible. From an advocacy one, we said is what do want people need? They said visibility. So we have awards platform, we have a movie platform, we have a policy engagement platform. So most of the thing is around a policy work to ensure that we have a voice at the table and communicate effectively. So that's kind of how we are working in the community and really ensuring that the brands can partner with us and they can, bring a program and we can help drive the visibility and distribution for them. Or if a person who's looking for these resources, we always have something available because what we have become is a visibility and a distribution engine, a very powerful component of go to market for any brands across the world.
Very cool. And so, do you want to maybe talk through, like, that's a lot you're doing, right? And so, how would somebody that's maybe trying to figure it out, maybe they're working a job right now that they, whether they like it or hate it, they want to be an entrepreneur and do their own thing. How do they kind of get involved with you and start working with you and the team to make their dream reality? And like, what are your thoughts on quitting your job, going all in, or kind of doing it slow, maybe in the evenings and weekends? Like, walk us through that.
Sure. I'll go through two scenarios and maybe that would give the answer. The first scenario is I'm looking for a job or I'm upskilling for a job.
Okay.
And that one is a very predictable path. They come in and they say is, how do I get skilled? That's the first one. So they get to tap into our programs that are available, whether it's a cyber program or an AI or a cloud program. Once they are done, they're also invited to participate in an AI innovation challenge. So they get to come and innovate on that.
That's cool.
And once they are done, they're like, I want to improve my public speaking and my thought leadership and give them access to really developing that. And we have free webinars and also the paid programs that they can participate. Now, the second track is the founder track or a company track. And they're like, I want to leverage this platform and the audience because my customers and my partners are in this ecosystem. They can enter as like a community partnership. So they sign up for that. They have a yearly membership with us. So as part of it, we give them visibility, we give them access to speak on our stages, and also provide them guidance on how to develop their board and give them access to the right people to build a board or build a team or whatever the challenge there, because entrepreneurs have a lot of needs. So we kind of find the pathway for them. And once they have become a community partner, they usually say, I want to go deeper with you. I want to bring my product offering to be democratized on scale. what ways we can do. Usually we'll bring in a hyperscaler and a founder to work with us, and we become a channel for execution for them easily
Oh, interesting.
without hiring a huge marketing team for them. So those are kind of the two tracks for us usually that I recommend. Everything is free to start with, and as you see improve, you need more value, sometimes you have to pay, small dollars, but then if you want to do macro impact, then you need to bring bigger chunk of money to really move the needle. We are 150,000 members in 80
Wow.
countries, Kevin. So
That's
there's
congrats. That's huge.
always, there's always some need that people have, but our engines are designed for giving you access to the right people, the right programs, the right funding, and everyone has a very specific need why they're coming into the community.
No, very cool. So, how are you helping promote this to get women more interested in kind of technology as a whole? Because, well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to have been a problem like almost as long as I can remember.
Kevin, technology world is relatively new when you look at all the other industries. So very new,
Sure.
and also it's fast moving, fast changing, and it's not going to change overnight. But the thing that we have to do is we have to start learning how to innovate ideas in the market. So early in our journey, if we were taught entrepreneur skills, we were taught how to manage money, how we were taught how to lead effectively in the schools. And if those things were easily accessible, then getting into the tech is good because the tech gives them all the rapid growth that you need. And right now, the starting point itself is harder, right? So, and then getting to the tech and breaking through certain ceilings is much harder. And we as an organization, we actually are developing women to show up as iconic leaders, that they know how to lead without, titles and power. They're really leading with outcomes and taking, I would say, they are building collaborative partnership. They are taking collective action. They're building inclusive foundation. So it's a skill you have to learn so you can actually come and add value to the organization you're part of it. If you can add value to the organization, trust me, you will grow through the chain. Yes, there is always bias there. Everyone has gone through it, whether it's a male or a female, doesn't matter. It's about, can you build trust? Can you add value? Can you move the needle? And it's each individual has their own journey. So it's not a blanket statement that we can fix, but you have to give access to the right tools and right leadership skills right from the school, then to the college, and then in the corporate world or in the market.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. So, you talk about kind of leadership, and it sounds so easy, but I think leadership and being a leader is actually one of the hardest things to learn and be good at. What advice do you give to kind of founders or people that are working a job that are leaders to make them better? Because I don't think anybody wants to be like a bad leader, but I think because it's such a hard thing to learn that a lot of times you are a bad leader because like that's not what you were passionate about doing, right? It's like you were in the trenches building something and now all of a sudden you're like managing the people that you used to be and you're not really trained to be a leader. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yes, Kevin. Growing up, I was taught situational leadership.
Okay.
I was taught visionary leadership. I was taught adaptive leadership, right? But at the core of the leadership, which I learned was serving the people and making sure that they had a great time building some really bold vision on at the end of the day. So in the journey of leading different ecosystems and multiple programs and multiple ideas, my hard-earned truth was we need to really think about us to lead like an icon. That means it's not about control, but it is about preparing, positioning, and also collective prosperity. Every few decades, when we think about the rules of leadership, will go through significant changes, sometimes gradually, sometimes overnight, sometimes decisively, but when the change arrives, you're either prepared or you're either replaced. And we are actually standing in those pivotal era right now because the world order is changing, technology is changing, everything around us which we thought was right is changing. So when you think about the place where we are, the business is not as usual. And we all have to think about a leadership reset. So the question that each of us are facing right now is, how do I prepare not just to survive the shift, but also lead through it? That's like the question, I call it as $1 million question. So the way we are educating our ecosystem, our community, is not lead with a title, and it's not about just the planning, it's not even the timing, but it is about preparing it. So we have provided is a 5-step iconic leadership preparation model. It's a framework which is helping each one of our members to lead in complexity despite whatever is happening. It's not about doing more, but it is preparing yourself, and it's about how you show up. So the steps that we are asking people is like, first is your identity and visibility, is who are you without a title? So what is that you're bringing to the table? The second one we are talking about is relationships and ecosystem. What network are you building that is your safety net at every single time? So are you helping others? Are you introducing each other? Do you have people who can help you ignite your idea? And do you have people who are truth tellers in your ecosystem? So you're curating your safety net. The third one we're asking people is like financial and influence the capital, right? Don't just prepare to lead, but also prepare to fund, because the leaders who bring the funding to the table, they will accelerate very fast because they have more influence in the decision making. So that's the third step we are asking. The fourth area we are educating is from executive functioning and emotional regulation. So lead from the grounded state. So you're not charged, you don't have bias, you're looking the world with zero reaction, but you're looking at, say, how can I look at it, prepare myself so I am not biased. And the last one is collective prosperity, is how do we build for others while building for yourself? Because most of the leadership in the past is talking about build yourself and this is important, but how do you build for others where everyone is growing? So the old leadership model was top down, but the new model leadership would look more like access based. So who rises with you? How many people get visibility? How many of them have economic prosperity through income, access, and credibility with the platforms you share? So that's kind of what we call as iconic leadership, and how you prepare in the world when everything feels not right, but you have an answer, and it's all about preparing yourself to lead effectively.
No, that's actually really interesting. I'm curious to get your thoughts on kind of where do you see the state of the everything right now? Because you read stuff obviously online and everything seems so doom and gloom and everybody's laying people off and blah blah blah, recession and blah blah. Like, what are you actually seeing, and what are the people you're working with actually seeing? Because it sounds like you're setting up people for success no matter what's happening in the economy. Is that fair to say? Yes. And sometimes when there's a downturn, is actually the best time to found something.
Completely agree. Kevin, recently I had to travel to India because my dad had heart surgery, and I had to travel when there is a India-Pakistan conflict going on.
Oh yeah, right.
And I
Fair
was
enough. Yeah.
in the middle of the whole thing, right? And when that happened, there were a couple of things. Is you're in a crisis mode. How do you make decision? I had a couple of options to really turn back from London and come back here, or go back through the eye of the chaos that goes in. And I said, is I'm there for them. They need me at this moment. At that time, none of the geopolitical thing mattered. None of the obstacle mattered. And what I realized is everybody has an answer when you have the next 3 steps identified. So when you know what your next 3 steps are, you can go through the journey very effectively without getting affected by the news, by what others are saying. You know your morals, you know your North Star, And you need to know is who are you serving? And if you're serving yourself, great, no problem. But you need to know how you're going to serve yourself. So you're not going to self-destroy yourself. But if you're serving others, what are the steps you will take to give them the support they need at this time? And that's a very much um, uh, uh, a kind of behaviors that everyone should be activating right now rather than getting reactive of every topic. So anytime I listen to any of the news, I say, yeah, that is there. It's a one point of view, but not the point of view. So I can go back into the AI tools because it gives me pros and cons, helps me think through a different way. And I say, how can I create a new paradigm shift without getting affected to all the things? What does a joyful paradigm looks like? And sometimes it's just going on a bike and having a good time and looking at the air and saying, boy, it looks good. Or we have a lot of things to take care of. But I think we should not wrap too much over every little word that's being said in the world right now, but looking at your right network, serving the network right, and doing something innovative. Whether you're building a podcast or you're building a tech company or writing a book, do something that makes you very excited to live on this planet. That's just my simple advice.
No, I think that's very good advice. So I'm curious. I think I've been looking at this the whole time. Like I have your sites up and stuff. You hold a world record. What is it for, and how did that come to be?
Yeah, Kevin, I love anything that is impossible. When someone says it's impossible, I just get very excited. I'm like, okay, now we need to solve it. So a Guinness World Record was always on my bucket list of items because it's a
Okay,
very hard thing to do.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so what when the community said we need to do something cool because the market was gloom and doom and we needed to bring something cool, one of our board members, she did a tech talk on vision boards and how to really create your vision boards, and she has been helping me for the last, I would say, 15 years. Anytime I'm like stuck, she'll come and she'll map your future state, and then it becomes really easy to navigate through that. So I reached out and say, hey, when we were having a conversation on her vision board, she had a Guinness World Record too. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I said, can we partner together to do a Guinness World Record attempt for the number of vision boards? So when we did research, the first incubation of this vision board was during the I would say, Alexander, he talked about it, right? You know, he was all about the vision and profits and all that stuff. And I'm like, there is nothing on a vision board. It's a new category that we get to create. So we reached out to the Guinness World Record team. They said, of course you can do it. Here is what it will take for you to do. So we did the first time. We had some cyber glitch on that. So we had to cancel in the middle of it. So we came back and did the second time. And it was so good. Like 700 people were all together doing their vision board for themselves,
That's cool.
and Patty Dabrowski kind of led the whole thing. That energy, that one was there in setting the world record. It really galvanized our community to go from, no, we are world records. We think bold, we can execute. So that's kind of how we did one. And this year we actually helped or contributed to Microsoft's Guinness World Record on the AI skilling, and it was really fun. So most of the people will come and say, we want to set a new Guinness World Record. We have a blueprint to help them achieve that. We know what it takes to do it and what is the evidence management that goes behind the scene to accomplish a Guinness World Record. So it's pretty cool. It's fun.
That's very cool. So I want to get your thoughts on what advice do you give to people for like doing sales, marketing, kind of digital strategy, because those three things are like so important, and I think arguably the hardest.
Yes. Kevin, I never took a sales class till today.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I have no sales skills. But I have business development skills in the sense is I can co-create an idea with someone and then say, let's go build it. I'm a builder and I can co-create any idea on a paper that you write it. And I'm like, I know exactly how to pull that thing together. My grandmother said is money only comes to people who can make bold ideas come to life. And that one was very profound. I was like, that is good, because you want to attract the right people to be part of it, and everyone is contributing to the idea instead of just buying the idea. So anytime I'm working on any concepts or idea, I'm mostly focusing on who can I invite to make this idea come to life, and can we all collectively invest in this concept or this idea so we can accelerate the path for democratizing access for many of them, and keeping everything in a way that the community is actually buying in without you selling in, because you're able to show the true transformation. Today, what I see is people sell the offer, but the transformation does not exist, and you get frustrated. But if you show the transformation, people will pay for it without you asking for it. And it's been really helpful. So I believe in education based selling rather than direct selling. And from a marketing standpoint, I think it is probably the best era to for every marketer to rethink about upgrading the skills to become a go-to-market experts, rather than, I do paid advertising or I do social media. I know those are all part of the promotion plan. But if you can do is go to market, and you know how to create the right offer, the right publicity, the right promotion, and the right partnership, then any offer can accelerate really well. But it has to have the transformation value. And I think that is missing. And whoever is driving transformation, they are able to grow very fast in the new world.
Interesting. No, I think that's actually really good advice. But we're kind of coming to the end of the show. So how about we close with mentioning where people can get more information about yourself, Women in Cloud, and any other links you want to mention?
Sure. So first is thank you for having me. This one was a great conversation. I would say if you have to reach me, I am very active on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. Kevin can give you the links so you can easily find me. For the Women in Cloud, you can go to womenincloud.com. If you are a company and you're thinking about, I want to accelerate my go-to-market, we ask you to become a community partner, engage actively, show up. And when you do it continuously, you'll start to see your company grow, your ecosystem grow, and we can help you do that. And what would you like? What can I share for you that will be valuable? Well, I would like to share is the iconic leadership blueprint that you can use and start to ponder on how you need to really navigate your own leadership style. This is working in our community, so you can come and learn more. Other than that is we are all in together. Test AI, play with it, experiment with it. Don't be afraid about the technology. It's just a tech. It's like a car. I would call it as it is more like a Lamborghini car, which is given for you at a fraction of a price. Play with it and enjoy the journey.
Perfect. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on the show. I look forward to keeping in touch with you, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Kevin, for having
Thanks,
me.
Chad. Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening. Please visit our website at buildingthefutureshow.com to join the free community, sign up for our newsletter, or to sponsor the show. The music is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com and keep building the future.